Possibly like you, I prefer to wait for them to come to me rather than trying to force an idea, because that's when you get what is sort of cliched and boring. But they happen in odd places when suddenly an idea comes to you and you think, oh, I could turn that into something. So this is a poem which is about, you could argue it's about displacement, but I had the idea when I was coming home from the co-op, this is when I lived in Wimbledon, and my block of flats, to protect the gardens, had a sort of pebble border to stop cars driving on it. It had rained, and the pebbles, which were normally grey, colourless, shone with different colours because of the rain, which might seem an odd subject for a poem, but anyway, it's called Pebbles. But in a sense, they're more than pebbles. So, pebbles. Dry, they are blanched, faded, dusty, dim. A garden is no place for such as us. But even the lightest shower decks out their paleness in jasper, speckles, rouges, a hint of kelp green or lilac coral. They come to life again, briefly and sadly, saying, "This is the truth about us. We long to be tumbled on a tide line, threshed, scattered, cast up and down, not regimented in someone's idea of a pattern. Spare us your dryness, and let us be watered always." That word for word has brought me more income than anything else I've written, because it won the Writing Magazine monthly poetry competition and I got £100. So that's about, I don't know, £5 a word. One of the things that we often have to do as we grow older is to be an executor for somebody. And a couple of years ago, I had to do that twice. I was the sole executor for 2 estates. Obviously, there's no need to go into whose they were, but that just sets the context. And one of the things you have to do as an executor is to empty the house. And you find all sorts of things that you didn't necessarily expect. It's not just things that you knew were there, you put in boxes. So each of these occasions when I was emptying the house for these 2 people, I responded in a different way. So the 2 sections have the initials of the person involved, just to distinguish them, set them apart. So emptying houses. The first one, SK. We have taken down the curtains, found new owners for wood and brass. The rooms grow brighter. They were never dull before being lived in, but the sun lays claim to all the vacant spaces, possessive, proprietorial. The new light is everywhere. I hesitate to say flushing, awash perhaps, suffusing. This is not a cleansing, simply a history is over, and those who were here have gone their unaccountable way from this point of death. Second section, JI. Working through the house, we found roll upon roll of it, Christmas wrapping paper, as if present giving were assured for decades to come. Brilliant holly pressed hard against balloons and snowmen. And all those padlocks in the backs of drawers, on windowsills. Handy little sets of golden lock and key, each one holding a secret, a private thought, now silenced. Inspiration can come at odd times. Often I daydream in the early hours of the morning, and ideas come to me, and if I don't write them down, put the light on, get some paper, fiddle around, they go. I actually started a novel that way. A conversation came to me and I wrote it. I think, well, who are these characters anyway? And this is about inspiration and thinking, oh bugger, I can't really be bothered to do this. It's called Moon Sliver. This can be no accident. A fine crack in the curtains and a sliver of the full moon insisting on entry. I wake in the early hours, a splinter of moonlight caught in my eye. I brush it aside with my writing hand, but, slim as a suggestion, it persists. Weekly, I jot down some phrases, try to find the best word for moonbeam, fiddle with gibbous and crescent. Then, resentful, I settle on the pillow, sure that the pointer will move across my head. Let it do its work. Illusions or lyrics, I shall harvest them in the morning. This one is called Grief. These were all published in the magazine Sarasvati, and they've even given me an illustration for this one. Grief. Every path you choose will lead into the shadow of this mountain. Jagged, daunting, its contours will always surprise you. Altiplano becoming fen, crevasses opening in orchards. There are no secret passes, no reaching the other side. Accept this. As for your guidebooks with their confident geography, discard them. Carry with you instead a snapshot in your back pocket, memories to snack on, words and outings remembered. These will be all you have to move its dark substance by the teaspoonful. And they gave me an illustration of a mountain. Have I got time for another? Water words. This is actually what it says. Words about water. Water words. Short names for these fragments of ocean as they are born. Drip, splash. But longer when they have grown into puddle, rivulet. They merge, swirl, gather extra syllables, cataracts, thrash into inundations, surge deliriously homewards, lost in the endless vowel of the sea. Is that it? Or you this one is about a mummy, not my mummy, but an Egyptian mummy. There was I remember a television program, they were exploring this particular mummy. So rigid with indignation. Rigid with indignation, her hands clasped over iron-hard, unenticing loins, Azra, former temple dancer, submits to probing. Time was when priests would dream of lancing her, and Pharaoh, flexing his prerogative, performed. Now the entry is nasal, her brain cavity seduced by modern optics. What splendours were recorded in this vacuity, the camera slowly tells us, is dull as an empty ice cream scoop. Your thoughts, Azra, your corners of unconfessed ambition. Tonight, let me lie with him, me. The camera picks out behind your eyes, desiccated pupae. I rush for paper and a pencil stub. Dear friend, when I am earth, let me not be laid in earth, a leathern granite bag, a stick bundle, a home for pupae. Spend whatever I have left you recklessly on paraffin, firelighters. Let me burn as I may not have lived, merrily. Better to linger in echoes, an inflection remembered, than as an example of 12th dynasty abscesses and a parody of the embalmer's art.